Let's take a look, first of all, at a current map of the region that's been released by the White House. You see here, Israel is in dark orange, and the Palestinian-controlled territory, so that's the West Bank and Gaza here, you see on the map in yellow. Now let's take a look at what Donald Trump calls his vision for peace, his Mideast peace plan. As you can see here, it grants vast tracts of disputed land, including the Jordan Valley here, to Israel. And those spots that you see on this map, these are the controversial Israeli settlements. These two would be retained within Palestinian territory. Now, the Palestinians, they would receive parcels of land that you see here right in the south. But critically, Jerusalem would be the undivided capital of Israel. Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas has denounced the plan.
President Trump and Prime Minister Netanyahu are pushing their international peace plan. But they've both got troubles at home. Impeachment hearings against Trump are continuing in the Senate, and on Tuesday, Netanyahu was formally charged with bribery and fraud. But there was no mention of either of those scandals at the White House.
Under this vision, Jerusalem will remain Israel's undivided, very important, undivided capital. But that's no big deal, because I've already done that for you, right? We've already done that, but that's okay.
For too long, far too long, the very heart of the land of Israel, where our patriarchs prayed, our prophets preached, and our kings ruled, has been outrageously branded as illegally occupied territory. Well, today, Mr. President, you are puncturing this big lie. You are recognizing Israel's sovereignty over all the Jewish communities in Judea and Samaria, large and small alike.
This is what Donald Trump says a future Palestinian state could look like. The map he tweeted shows Palestinian areas in dark green, with the West Bank and Gaza connected by a tunnel. He said eastern Jerusalem would be the capital of the state of Palestine. The Palestinians have already made it clear this isn't a plan they're prepared to back.
I would like to say to Trump and Netanyahu that Jerusalem is not for sale. And all our rights are not for sale and not for bargaining. Your conspiracy deal will not pass.
Opponents of this new plan will need to move quickly. Israeli officials say Netanyahu plans to ask for cabinet approval on Sunday to make the proposed new borders a reality.
Let's get some perspective on this story now. We have Akram Baker with us. He's a political consultant who has worked closely with Palestinian leaders. Akram, thank you for joining us here in our studios. What do you make of this peace plan? How much does it really shift the situation?
Well, it's not a peace plan. It's an absolute abdication of all of our Palestinian rights. It is a deal done between Netanyahu and Trump, which just exemplifies the right-wing extremist views that are propagated in the world today.
You said it's completely denouncing, essentially, the Palestinian state, but it does, of course, allow for Palestinian land and a capital in East Jerusalem.
No, it doesn't. It is, first of all, they're not disputed territories. They are illegally occupied territories.
Which we heard the Israeli Prime Minister, of course, correct.
And they are illegally occupied territories. And it gives Israel, it gives the right wing of Israel and the United States and the right-wing evangelical Christians every single thing they want. And it's giving the Palestinians some vague promise of becoming a Bantustan, because that's exactly what they're getting. If you look at that map, it kind of looks like South Africa in the 1970s and 80s.
Okay, well, you said in an interview on DW that essentially Israel does already claim or control all of this land already, and that Palestine essentially doesn't exist on the map. So does it not confirm the situation that already exists?
So in my opinion, let's thank Donald Trump for finally giving the death knell to the so-called peace process, which I was involved with 30 years ago. From 30 years ago till today, they're talking about the same things. Israel controls all of Palestine and all of Israel. And the problem is that This is going to continue. If this is going to formalize it, then bring everybody into one state, and we'll call it Israel, call it Palestine. Let it become a democratic state where there's one man, one woman, one vote.
Donald Trump has said he's open to negotiations. So what options are there for Palestinians at this point?
In my opinion, the only option the Palestinians have is, and I've been calling on this for quite a while, and maybe this is the time that they'll finally do it, is to dissolve the Palestinian Authority. It is nothing but a sham. There should be no so-called security cooperation with Israel. Israel rules that area. They occupy that area. They should be responsible for all of the Palestinian people and the population living within these territories. We cannot give them any more fig leaves. It's the only way to do this. Otherwise, this is a fast track to war or genocide.
Okay, you'd say that would be the solution going forward. How do you feel about the reactions that we saw from Germany, for example, from Europe? Fairly muted. We did see the UK say that they welcome any step towards a solution that means peace between the Israelis and the Palestinians.
I actually hold Western Europe just as much responsible for what's happening.
Why?
Because if they're just going to say, oh, we protest, or it's muted, or we're not going to do anything, they are the ones who are perpetuating this. Israel's largest trading partner is not the United States, it's with the European Union.
So what should Germany, the European Union, be doing
They need
here?
to put their foot down and hit Israel where it hurts, to say there are costs, you have to be held accountable for their policies, which are going against everything in the European constitutional rights.
All right, that's all we have time for at this moment. Akram Baker, a political consultant who has worked closely with Palestinian leaders. Thank you for joining us here on DW.